Hello guys, this is Zibby from Max Motors again. Today we're working on a 2003 Mercedes S55 AMG, and guess what we're working on? Yep, the ABC suspension. So, customer came in stating that there is a ABC low pressure light on. We went ahead and plugged in the OBD2 scanner, and yes, it shows up that there's some fluctuations. The pressures are dropping. Upon closer inspection, we noticed that all these shields were just soaked with hydraulic fluid. Culprit of the leak was the actual pump, right? So you can get these things rebuilt ones, and the leak was actually, it looks like it was coming from that ring here. Now I know there's a huge O-ring inside, I believe. I've seen somebody take one of these apart, and there is no rebuild kits for these. You can't really do it yourself. For some of the older models like the w240s, they do have rebuild kits. I've rebuilt one already. So I purchased a rebuilt on eBay, which seems fine. It's not leaking, and one problem that it was painted, and these pins were painted, so I had to clean that out. So we installed this thing, and we filled up the reservoir, but it did not move at all. It just stayed. It did not suck anything in. The fluid, none of it went missing, and we were getting 0 psi. So we're getting less psi than before the actual repair. Let me show you guys the sensor that checks the pressures. So the sensor itself turns out to be fine on my car, and you cannot, from what I heard, you cannot buy the sensor itself. You have to buy the whole valve body, which is about $1,000. And obviously, before I start replacing valve bodies, I need to make sure that the system is bled. So bleeding the system there's no right way of doing it. I undid these bolts, banjos, whatever, and a lot of dirty fluid came out. Nothing helped. That's your sensor for the pressure. So it builds, thousands of psi here, and that sensor takes care of that. You can check your pressures. Here you have a nitrogen-filled accumulator. That's just like a reserve for the whole system to work properly. Alright, so our issue was that we could not bleed the system. That sensor was not getting anything there, and one of the lines was actually almost empty. It sort of dripped, but the other one dripped a lot quicker. So I figured, there's something going on. So I'll show you the trick that I used to actually get this thing to start building some psi. And I've used this before on doing like brake jobs and stuff. I figured, hey, why not? I'll give it a shot. So here's your ABC reservoir, and you have a dipstick that comes in here. So what you're gonna do is take your blowgun with some air, right? and you know where I'm going with this. Basically, what you're trying to do is, give it pressure, but just don't, lock this up and blow this whole thing up. Give it a little bit and pulsate it, so you'll see this reservoir expand and contract a little bit. I don't, this isn't something that it's recommended doing, but there's so many people struggling with this that this is just something that worked for me. Make sure you're not overdoing it. This is a plastic reservoir. Don't make it crack or something. I pulsated it for a little bit while watching the pressures on my scanner tool, which I left in the office, but basically the ABC light went away by itself. So now we're good, all set. It was a little bit stressful. We spent a lot of money on the pump and time to put it in. I'll show you why it takes a lot of time to put this thing in, so you'll have an easier time doing this job. So basically, 2 of the screws, bolts. So this is how it goes. Right? This is how it sits in the car. So you have 1, 2. That's easy. Then you have a bracket that attaches to here on the back, right? But you have to actually remove the pipe bracket because you will not be able to get to this bolt. So there's 4 things you have to unbolt on the actual pump itself. It's difficult to do, and I'll show you the bracket here if I can. Oh yeah, so down there you see the 2, see a pipe, like a metal pipe. So you got a rubber, and then there's 2 size 10s, almost, well, they fit. So, and that's where your bracket is. The bracket is got actual threads in it. Now the bracket goes like this, and it attaches underneath the header there, the exhaust manifold. There is one, I think it's a size 10. So after you undo these, undo that bracket, remove that bracket, you can actually get your hand in there. Don't be afraid to put your hand underneath the exhaust. Get that screw out of there, remove the bracket, and then you can get to that tricky bolt which you can't even see here, but I think I got it. It's right there. Okay, see it? Boom, right there. And that's the pain in the ass one. So you have to remove the bracket, otherwise your flat size 13 will have nowhere to move, even if you have the small ratcheting ones. Because you see how much room there is. That bracket is actually on the way. You see that black thing down there? That's the bracket you have to take out. Guys, good luck with this. There's a lot of people complaining that it's a lot of work. It's a great system once it's all working. The car doesn't lean like as usual springed car does. If you have any more questions, you can always check the leave me a message on YouTube. I check those. I'll help you out. So if you don't know about our place, we are located in Bristol, Connecticut. We work on tons of Mercedes here, customer cars, plus we do a lot of sales. Got some AMGs, some diesels, and here is our contact info also for you guys. Stay in touch and good luck with your ABC repair.